freaks. I'm here to bring you the daily roll where every day we show up, we roll the dice, we see what numbers want to come through, and based on the numerology, we let it trigger off a download session where I bring in messages for the collective about the energies coming into play. You may see these messages play out in your life over the next 72 hours. These reads are timeless, okay? So 72 hours from whenever you find the message. So you tap in when you're meant to tap in, and it can help give you some clues and some support in navigating the terrain before you. And I did get a message that came in straight away, and that's that. Ooh, this is interesting. This just came off in my hand. Okay, so we got pentagram here. Okay, this is about bringing things into balance. It's bringing all of the elements into a state of balance. And see, there's this green stone in the center of this pentagram. It's like putting yourself in the center where you can come into alignment with spirit. So there's this need to balance your elemental energies. This wasn't expected. That's not what I was going to bring in, but it's coming in now. So we're going to work with it. Okay, so it's like really being aware of where your elemental balance is within yourself and in your life right now. So let's talk about that for a minute. We have North, which is earth energy. All right, earth is about grounding, it's about the foundation, it's about stability. Have you laid down the proper foundation in your life to really root what you're trying to call in, to really root what you're trying to manifest so that it can grow, right? Because the earth supports growth. It needs to be rooted in the earth before things can grow and come into material reality. All right. So this is really about looking at your foundation right now and also getting grounded and getting centered so you can be ready to take tangible action. A lot of things are moving out of the area of inspiration and into actually doing the work. I just had this image of like tilling the soil, getting things prepared for the further growth to come on your path. Okay, so it's about doing those sort of checks and balances today, seeing where you need reinforcement, where does the foundation need to be, leveled off, where does the balancing need to come in order to support further growth on a practical level. Get your schedule in order, get those tasks, marked off, the things that you need to do so you can move forward in an empowering way. Air energy, that's all about the inspiration, noticing what ideas come to you out of the blue today that sort of catch your interest, exploring those things a little bit further, feeding your inspirations, pouring more of your energy into what actually inspires you as opposed to just going through the motions. Air element also, it's really making me think of the written word. Some of you have words that need to come out, on the paper, journaling you need to do, books that you've been meaning to write, that you need to just start, even though you're not quite sure how the story will unfold. It's all about, that earth energy, right? Taking the initial action, setting aside the time and the space to just write, and letting it be imperfect, letting the inspiration flow, just letting what wants to come through. Books are often written in stages. They don't all come out in just one shot. Sometimes it's a matter of just getting the inspiration onto paper where the characters can develop, the storyline can develop. Okay, so I also feel like there's a lot of messages coming in. There's messages that are coming in, and these messages are meant to be shared. Some of you are doing channeling work. Some of you are opening up to your psychic gifts. You're feeling compelled to, share some of these messages that are coming through. There's also messages coming in on the wind, when you're out and you're in the natural elements and you feel that breeze come in. There's messages that it's stirring in you, something about connecting with air element. And I just saw feathers. Feathers may be showing up as signs of inspiration that you're on the right track. Like you might notice you'll be on a certain train of thought on your walk, an idea comes to you, and then you spot a feather. It's like a confirmation that yes, this is the direction you need to go. All right. Air is also about the sword of truth, being able to speak your truth, being able to align with the truth, and maybe telling yourself the truth about where you really do feel inspired to direct your energy, direct your time, and then following through with that. And that's all the energy of the East, okay? Energy of the South, that's fire element. Fire is about having the vision and having the ability to take up that wand and actually take action. It's about having a purpose, and bringing your fire forward, which is all about that spirit of motivation, ambition, doing what needs to be done to make the vision actually hatch, right? And then we have water in the West, tuning into your intuition, pouring your energy into what really fulfills you emotionally, on a heart-based level. It's also about watering your vision so that it can grow. You have to nurture the things you want to grow in your life. And that's by investing your time, your energy, your focus. And that all leads to the promise in the foundation that was laid of the harvest to come with the earth element. And it's all by aligning you in the center with Akasha, spirit, This is what brings about the gifts. All right. So unexpected detour with that download. But the thing I wanted to bring in is that I feel like it would be very beneficial to create a talismanic piece of jewelry yourself. You may even want to bring together pieces of old jewelry items you have and sort of deconstruct them and put them back together in a new way and make sort of like a talismanic piece that you can wear. Sort of a talismanic rosary, something that you can really like imbue your energy in that is connected to the vision you're creating. And I also feel like, putting charms on this piece that you can add to as you go about your journey on your way to manifesting this dream in material reality, letting the charms come to you. But you can use any kind of like protective bead, or in this case, this is a seed. This is wahruo seeds. Okay. And these are for protection. These were gifted to me by my dear friend Kali, who received these when down in Peru by one of the medicine men down there, gifted them to her, and she passed them on to me. They've been all blessed up. Okay. And I put a Santa Muerte charm on there. Santa Muerte really speaks to me. And I got a dice, a dice up top there, which is so fitting for this read we're doing. I didn't even expect how that would come in when I put that on there. But really, it's all about just like this spirit of taking your chances, hedging your bets. You can't win the big prize if you're not willing to, roll the dice and take your chances. So that's why I put that on there, to always just be protected as I take my chances, as I practice sort of a gambling spirit in moving forward in my life, taking that risk for the things that really speak to me, accepting, things that need to be released in order to make it possible with that Santa Muerte energy. And I brought this in, just to remember to stay connected to all those elements within myself, to keep myself in the center of that, to stay balanced and remember my role in manifesting. But, I'll have to put this back on. It's funny because it was put on and it was backwards. I actually hung it in the wrong direction Now this gives me a chance to put it on the right way. But it's funny how it came off, right? It's funny how it came off in the download. It really wanted to be highlighted. All right. So this is coming in. Some of you also, this just also arrived, may be exploring the craft. You know, you may have been kind of curious about different witchcraft paths, and you're starting to maybe see that it's not all this Hollywood, fantasy stuff, that it's a real path with heart. It's a quintessentially about really being connected to nature. That is the path of a witch, connected to the elements, connected to nature, understanding that we're a reflection of that. It's the macrocosm, and we are reflected through us, the microcosm of that macrocosm. It's knowing your place in nature, that nature is one with us. And in order for us to be supported by nature, cared for by nature, we also have to nurture nature, and nature in return nurtures us. It's actually a very beautiful path, and it's a path of alchemy. And I feel like some of you are starting to explore it. You may have been feeling held back just because of certain beliefs you were raised with, but I feel like some of you are starting to trust your heart a bit more. You're starting to trust what's in your bones, what you've kind of always known about yourself, and you're allowing yourself to open up to the truth of that and begin your exploration. So for those of you that are opening up to the path of the craft and you're starting to explore, welcome. It's a beautiful path. And I myself made that journey on my path of being raised in a traditional Christian upbringing, and never feeling quite the resonance there, always knowing the truth of who I was. And it's a really amazing transformational journey in and of itself. 12:33 on the clock when I said that. Triple Trinity energy, okay? And 3 also stands for the triple goddess, okay? Maiden, Mother, Crone. So just enjoy this as it unfolds for you. Enjoy this process as you start to really open up to who you are spiritually, and embracing that instead of feeling the need to kind of keep that part of you hidden, or hold it at bay because of the programming you received around it. And I think it's going to be a beautiful opening experience for you. Make yourself a talismanic piece, as you explore this, and as you go through your journey, collect different charms that signify different points in your initiation into this new spiritual path, and integrate them into your medicine piece. All right. So this is really coming forward today. And now we're going to do a roll of the dice and see what other energies want to come in here. Beautiful. Okay. So we got 6 and 2. This is coming into partnership with spirit and aligning so that you come into direct alignment with your purpose. I really feel like this path that is your purpose is opening up to you right now. And it's because you're making yourself more receptive to spirit. Some of this had to do with you were blocking the way through. You were blocking the way through because you were trying to sort of shut down the spiritual awareness that was opening up in you. Some of this may have been related to fear, and it could have been connected to what I was talking about, this sort of belief construct, spiritual programming you've had about what the right path is for you. And you're moving through this resistance to really trust what your inner promptings, what your inner intuition is telling you about the path that's meant for you. We see that this brings manifestation. It roots it, okay? Double 4s, 8 energy, all right? There's a lot of this coming into power and manifesting our dreams, manifesting our visions. That 8 energy has been so front and center. On the ends, we have 5 and 1s. That's 6 again, purpose energy reflected again. And on the other side here, double 3s for another 6. So this is really where we're at right now. We're going to start seeing the manifestation of what we have been pouring our visions, our time, our energy into. I really feel like with this coming off and this being so front and center, it's speaking to looking at the progression of our vision from its initial inception with that air element and the idea, the inspiration, like, "Oh, I should do this, or I should go in this direction, or I need to contact this person, or um, this is what I want to do. This is what speaks to me." From that initial inception to actually letting it progress further into that fire element. Okay, I got the vision. I got the determination. I've set my target. And now I'm going to move into action. I'm going to use that wand energy. I'm going to move into action. I'm going to actually make it happen. To the water element energy of now I'm going to really nurture this. I'm going to water my dreams. I'm investing myself on an emotional level because I feel this. I feel this in my heart. I feel this in my soul. This is what I'm supposed to do. To finding the manifestation coming through. Notice where you are on this cycle of progression. Is there a step you're missing? Is there a place where you didn't follow through? Do you need to nurture one of these elements in particular? So let's say that you've looked at your cycle of progression and you're like, okay, well, I do feel connected in my heart space to it. And I have done some nurturing with it. I've had the inspiration, but what's missing is my fire. I haven't really had the follow through. I haven't had the motivation. I haven't really taken the actions I know I need to take practically to make this thing happen. It was 1733 on the clock when I said that. That's all about, to come into alignment with your purpose, all right, and see the manifestation. You have to work with that 3 energy. You have to help it along. You actually have to do the work. It's great to have a wonderful inspiration or a soul calling, but if you're not doing the practical work to make it happen, the manifestation won't follow. So I feel this is a big piece, bringing that fire forward. And it's wild because we have summer solstice energy coming in, okay? And summer solstice is all about keeping those fires burning. So I would say, light a fire on summer solstice. And even if you just have a candle, that you keep going through the night, maybe do some cha-talk, a little candle gazing, meditation, calling your fire forward. So you have what you need to take those actions you need to take to really bring your vision forward into life, into your material reality, and getting it just out of the head and heart space to actually seeing it root in your material reality. I think that could be a very potent practice, and also move you into the energy that's going to be required. We're moving into a space as summer kicks off where we're going to have to blaze a trail, right? You're going to need the energy to do that. There's only one way you can do that, and that's with Agni. Agni is that fire element as it is manifested within us, and we can direct that Agni in a few different ways. First of all, offering up what has held us back, the things that are limitations, the false beliefs we've had, the old shit we're hanging on to, all of this stuff. We can offer it up to Agni, that fire within us, to burn it away and transform it. You can do that as you're doing Tratak, as you're staring at a candle in meditation. Envision those things that are blocking your path, that are holding you back, your perceptions, your way of viewing things, what you think is possible for you, or what you think is an obstacle on your path. Just give it over to the flame. Give it over to the flame of your candle and let it burn away on the pyre of Agni. Let it purify you so you can become a clear conduit for your vision to manifest through. That's when you allow spirit to come through. Sometimes we get in our own way, you know, and then follow the directive of spirit, follow that inner hunch, or you can view it as your higher consciousness too. Not everybody relates to the concept of spirit. Some people, you know, relate more to the concept of my higher knowing, my higher knowledge, my Atman, my consciousness, my higher consciousness. You know, you have to be a clear conduit for that to come through, so you can really actualize what you're calling into being. So, and simultaneously, you know, if you notice you're deficient in one of the other areas, maybe you haven't maybe you haven't been really nurturing it. Maybe you've had some actions you've taken, you've had the inspiration, you know what you want to ground in reality, but maybe you haven't nurtured it. Maybe you haven't really dedicated yourself to it in your heart space, or maybe you're going about it in a way that it disrupts that peace where you don't feel totally connected in what you're doing. And I do think that's the case for some of you, because it was 2112 on the clock when that came through. Okay, double 3 energies. So you know, where do you need some help? Where do you need some support? Maybe you're kind of working about things in sort of a formulaic way, and that's actually, though you think it's going to help support your dream, it's actually what is sort of hindering your dream, because the energy needs to be more of this, like, this flow, and if you feel out of harmony with going about things in a formulaic way, it actually disrupts your flow, it dams up your energy, and maybe that's why things are stalled out. So maybe you need to remember the heart piece a little bit more. Maybe you've kind of lost the heart piece a bit, what really resonates with you, what really speaks to you, what tugs at you on a soul level, because you're sort of just chasing the material manifestation, or this just came in, the material reward of what you're investing your energy in. You know, remember why you started. Remember why you started. 22 on the clock when I said that. Remember why you started. Because if you remember that initial inspiration, what initially gave you that, like, butterfly feeling in your stomach, or that inner, you know, recognition, like, yeah, this is it. This is what I want to do. This is where I want to go. This is what I want to pour my energy into. Connect with that spirit again, and it'll realign you with the right place where you can, you know, bring that water element in. You can really connect with it on a heart level again. And once you do that, that sets things right. Also encourage you to bring in water element if that's the case. You know, give yourself some cleansing baths. Go for a swim. Feel what it feels like to feel buoyant, you know, to feel supported in that way by this water element that you know, it supports you with this buoyancy and this flow, right? You know, it's not a struggle. It's not a struggle. In fact, you can kind of like give yourself over to it. I just saw like this image of like floating on your back and just letting the current kind of carry you, and being, how, if you're going to float, right? If you're going to float in the water, how does the body need to be? You have a couple options. You can sit there and you can tread, you know, you can go about things in a formulaic way. You can tread, you can expend a lot of energy staying in one fucking place because you feel like you have to manipulate the flow. You have to, you know, make the current work in the way you think it needs to work, rather than letting yourself be carried by it. But if you want to be carried by it, what do you have to do? You have to open up. You have to get on your back. You have to be in that open shape. Oh my goodness. I just saw this image of you, collective, floating on your back in the water with your arms and your legs spread out. You know that Leonardo da Vinci drawing, it's a sketch of the human figure, and they're in the shape of a pentagram. Okay. I think I'm going to have to put that as the cover photo for this particular read. You know, they're in the shape of a pentagram. It's like you are the center of that it all spirals out from. And it's by opening to that energy, letting the elements support you, letting the elements support you in what you're calling in and what you're manifesting, and being aware of where you're at in that elemental cycle. Because there's not one of those elements that can be left out if you are to see your manifestation. Earth, air, fire, water, all coming together creates what's needed for manifestation and allows there to be a clear conduit for spirit or Atman or your higher consciousness, higher awareness to funnel through and bring your vision from within to without in your material reality. And that is what I got for you today on the Daily Roll. Get out there, make stuff happen.